Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to American Outback. And I have been very busy between episodes here. So we've raised quite a bit of money. I ended up doing a lot more silage baling once the cameras stopped rolling. Made quite a bit of money through selling some silage bales. And on top of that, I've also done quite a lot of contract work all over the map, taking whatever jobs I could to raise as much money as possible, as quickly as possible. And as a result of that, we have been able to buy a brand new field. So we now own Field 4 down in the bottom right corner, as you can see. That currently has a wheat crop growing on it, and all of our fields, including Field 4, are fully fertilised and ready to go. The only problem with Field 4 is that because we didn't own that field, we couldn't plough it. So it doesn't have that 10% yield bonus that we'll get from all the other fields, but I can live with just losing a little bit of 10%. That's not too much of an issue. We're going too far up the field. We need to be down this end. Just got to be careful I don't crash into the crop. A little bit of crop destruction went on just there, so I've got to touch too close. So yeah, we now own Field 4, and I'm hoping that by selling some of the grain that we've been stockpiling, we'll be able to buy Field 5 as well. That is also fully fertilised and ready to harvest. So let's just set cruise control here to 6. There we go. Engine off, and let's get our harvester started. It's a very early start to the day, and as you can see, we are running at normal time instead of 5 times, and the reason for that is our crops are already in the second window of harvestability, so they only have one more stage to go before they would then, disappear. That's not going to be an issue for our fields, but for Field 5, obviously that will be a problem. So let's take a quick look at the map. You see that Field 5 has this canola crop on here. There you can see it's in stage 2 of being ready to harvest, so one more stage to go after that, and then it ends up purple and automatically harvested. I want to be in a position, hopefully, to be able to buy this field before that happens, which is why we're running at normal time today. And as you can see, it is fully fertilised. It will, like Field 4, lose the 10% extra because it's not ploughed, but we can fix that when we buy the field. And if we can buy the field at the same time as owning Field 4, what we can do is we can actually gap between the two fields, join them together and make this into a big super field. That's the plan. Now to do that we need money, and we don't have a huge amount. Thanks to being able to do all that contract work and all that silage baling, I was able to buy Field 4. So we have a debt of around about a bank loan of around about 100,000, which means we have 200,000 still available to withdraw, and we have 28,000 or so. That'll obviously drop through wages as we continue harvesting in our bank account. Now we need 450 or so, 460,000 to be able to buy Field 5. So we are definitely going to have to sell some crops. Now the prices at the moment aren't spectacular, but they are going up, which is a good thing. And just whether they'll go up quick enough for us to be able to really maximise how much money we can make off them before that field becomes unharvestable. So we should hopefully be able to raise a couple of 100,000 based on the crops that we have and the crops that we are getting in. We don't currently have any canola, but we have this field here, Field 119, that does have canola, and also Field 20 that also has canola as well. So these two fields here combined will be selling both of those pretty much straight away. Field 6 will give us extra soybeans to go with the ones that we already have, and if the price is good enough we'll sell those as well, and then we'll start going through our less valuable grains like the wheat that we have here and here, combined with what we currently have in stock, our barley, our sunflowers, maybe even our corn as well. We'll look at selling as much as we can to fund the purchase of Field 4. To fund the purchase of Field 5. So that's going to be the theme of this episode here. Is going to be running the harvest as much as we can, and then selling, the results of those harvests, and making as much money as we can to try and buy Field 4 and 5. Well, to buy Field 5 and then run it as a combined 45 field, link the two together. So let's get on with that then. I will, as always, keep the footage rolling, and I'll check in with you as we progress. And straight away we're running into a problem. Combine just doesn't have the capacity to run all the way down the field. I actually thought we'd be alright with canola, but apparently not. So let's go get our auger. Where is it? There it is. And that means we're going to have to run our auger all the way down and up the field. Which means we're going to have to keep swapping our combine from side to side each time it completes a pass. We'll be fine going down, we can just turn around and go back up. But when we get back to the top, we'll have to take control of the harvester, move it to the opposite side of the field and send it down that way, so that we can actually run our auger along the side and unload as we go. Because as you can see, we clearly just don't have a large enough grain tank to be able to manage this entire field length using canola. I honestly thought we'd be alright with that, but apparently not. So there we go, the combine is back up and running, as you can see. He'll turn, go back up the field, and then we can pull alongside, empty him as he goes, and then we'll empty the auger when we get to the top into our waiting truck. We've had quite a few different sunset shots in the past on both this farm and some of the others as well. Thought it'd be quite nice to get a sunrise shot for a change. You can see the sun coming up, gleaming and reflecting off the hood of our Puma there. And we get nice blue skies instead of those usual sort of orangey purpley skies that we've been seeing on the sunsets. I just thought it'd be quite a nice little change to see a little bit of difference there. Although I do think it is about to start clouding up a little bit. As some fog or mist will start to come in. We'll see how that goes. Time to turn the combine around again, so we jump to the combine, fire the worker, pipe back in again. And then hire the worker back, and that's how quick and easy it is to do that. And all we have to do now is just take control of our auger wagon again, and we can continue harvesting this field almost uninterrupted. So there's an upside and a downside to how good our yield actually is on this field. The upside is we're going to have a lot of canola to sell. That's always a good thing. It's a decent money crop, especially on this particular farm. The downside is that our single trailer just isn't going to cut it anymore. This will be our second tip into our trailer when we get to the end of the row here. And although it's not going to be a full tip like the last one wasn't, it's still going to be pretty close to full capacity, which means we're going to have to empty our truck very, very soon. And we still got half a field to do. So this could be slightly problematic. Our timing is going to have to be absolutely spot on to get this thing unloaded and then back to the field again before our auger fills up. And on top of that, it's not the auger that we need to worry about, it's the combine. We can't empty the combine with our auger while we're driving the truck. We just can't do it. You know, we would need a second person to do that, and we don't have a second person. So, going to have to be really, really clever with the timing. I just turned the engine off by mistake. There we go. So let's pipe out. You see, the time we're taking here to do this means that our combine is already, albeit slowly, starting to fill up, which means that we won't have time to empty this auger, drive the truck back, unload it, come back, and get back into the tractor again before the combine fills up. We just won't have the time to do that. So we're going to have to tag the combine to empty it, then drive like crazy in the truck, unload the truck, start unloading into the silo, switch back to the auger, unload the combine again, maybe even switch the combine to the opposite side of the field, and then drive the truck back, get everything lined up, start working on unloading the combine again. We could easily end up with the combine either going into the wrong pass and coming straight back up on this side of the field, which would be a problem because we wouldn't be able to unload it, or we end up with, you know, a combine that fills up and sits there just waiting to be unloaded. So if we can actually manage to keep everything running and operating, it'll be a challenge, but let's see if we can do it. So let's find the truck. There it is. So we need to drive pretty quickly. So we're going to bomb down the side of the field. And I would love to just buy a second truck, or at least a second trailer. That would be fantastic, but the trailers themselves are not cheap. Plus we would need a dolly, and you know, that would be an extra, you know, injection of cash that we just can't really justify at the moment. So we would need probably around 100,000. Now the other alternative would be to buy a mother bin, which we could use. But again, that's 130,000, and we're trying to save up money to buy Field 5, not spend money at this point, so we can't really afford to do that either. So we're just going to have to keep doing this. We're going to have to keep juggling everything and shuffling and shuttling and hoping that we can get things done. We're going to cut across the bottom of the field here. Like I say, we're going to have to be a little bit naughty, just simply because of time. I need to get this to the silo and quick, and then while it's unloading, then we can take control of our auger again. Make sure that the combine doesn't fill up. Stay with the combine long enough to turn it around to the opposite side of the field and send it back up again. Then bring the truck back, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's going to be tricky, but hopefully we can get it done. Oh, we've got a car. Just avoided a head-on collision there. That was close. So here we go. Start the unload process, and immediately we need to get back on that combine. It's not quite at 80% yet. You know, we haven't had the warning pop up, which is good. And hopefully unloading that 4,000 litres at the start has brought us enough grace as well that we can get to it and get it unloaded fully before it reaches the end of the field. Don't need the lights on, let's turn those off. Just see what the combine is at the moment. At 50%, so we weren't too far off. Oh, engine's turned itself off. In that brief second I switched vehicles, the engine turned itself off. Lovely. There we go. So we're now crossing into the remains of field 1. That's where the dividing line used to be. You can see we're just coming into field 1 now. And we kind of have to stay here now with this combine until it gets to the end, so that we can then turn it around to the opposite side of the field. Because if we send it back up, just let it turn around and go straight back up, it'll still be on this side of the field, which means it'll get a certain way up, we won't be able to unload it, and it'll just stop, which is obviously not what we want. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring the truck to this end of the field and leave it at this end, so it's not got so far to go, and also it's closer to field 20 as well. So let's switch over to the combine, fire the worker, pipe in, get him turned around, and rehire the worker. Oh, we hired him a little bit in the wrong position. That should be better. There we go. So now we need the truck. There's the truck. And now again we're running the clock. We've got to get this truck back parked up and in position before our combine fills up. When we've got most of a field length before that'll happen, so we should be fine. But on the larger fields with just the one trailer and only 70,000 litres capacity, this is kind of what we're going to have to do. If we were to have wheat on that field, we would probably fill 3 of these trailers quite comfortably. But the amount we could make off the bales would be phenomenal. We could probably make an extra 50,000 just off selling bales on that one field alone. So that's something that we'll definitely look to do in the future. Let's get our truck lined up. So we'll cut through these bushes here. Truck's on a slope. That's not fantastic, but it'll do. There we go. So now we need to get the auger. We want to unload what we've got, because there isn't enough space left in the auger for another 2 trips, you know, one up and down the field. And then we've got to go tag our combine, empty him. And you can see he's not too far up the field, so we should be absolutely fine timing on the, you know, wise on this. But it creates more drama than is necessary. So going forward, a Bromar mother bin is probably going to be the better option for harvesting big fields like this. It certainly would be more space efficient than getting another trailer, which would only give us a combined total of 140,000 litres. The mother bin has a total on its own of 185,000 litres. So definitely would be the more viable economic option, I think. There we go. We are caught back up. And we are good to continue with our harvest. The mod testing forum thread has just been updated. So in testing for consoles right now is still slow haul extendable. The bale trailers, that's very ambiguous. An update for Losberg. There also appears to be an update for the placeable ramp that was released a few weeks back. We also have 2 new entries. One is the bale pusher. Again, a little ambiguous. I've done a quick search and tried to see if I can find a mod called bale pusher. Couldn't see one. And something else called BioBelts ITR 480, which suggests that this will be something that can connect up to a man truck, perhaps. I've seen an existing mod for Farming Sim 17 on PC that is a man truck with a trailer attachment, And it may well be that that's what we're getting. We do have man within the authorised brands, so it could well be that. We'll just have to again wait and see to get confirmed results as to exactly what it is. But it does look like we might be getting an IT runner truck finally on console. Again, it's something a lot of people have been asking for, and it looks like we may actually have one of those on the way. So keep your eyes peeled to the forums to find out more information, and as soon as I have something concrete, I will of course post it on my page as well. Now we're on the final pass of this field, so from here we'll move across to field 20, then field 2, then field 6, and then finally field 4. And then once we have everything harvested, we'll check our grain prices, see what's best to sell, and then hopefully we'll have enough money to be able to buy field 5 and then harvest field 5 as well. Field 119 is now finished. So I've probably chosen a very bad spot to try and turn there. It's a little bit too tight and I wasn't wide enough. Let's try that again. There we go. So this is the second half of that harvest. Another 69,000 litres. Almost a full trailer. Just, literally just a few hundred short of being a completely full trailer. There we go. We'll start the unload. Let's have a quick look at how our crop prices are doing. Valley Grains is the place to sell canola by the look of it. You can see we are adding and adding and adding to our total. Let's see just how much we've got after that one field. 126,000 litres, that's pretty good. And we still have another field to go, which is field 20. The combine is already underway, so let's get our truck in position and get our auger ready to start unloading again. And herein lies the contrast between field 20 and field 119. On that one we needed 2 trailers to unload our crop. On this one, I don't think we're even going to need one. We might be able to contain everything in just the auger. Because you can see we've done half the field and we're about to get our second tip into the auger here. This will give us an extra 10, 11,000 litres of grain. I really think, we could possibly get the entire crop off this field in just the auger and not even need the truck. This is why the big fields are so valuable on American Outback. The amount of crop that you can gain is huge. I mean, you can see the difference in the field sizes there. I mean, field 20 is a decent sized field, but the yield we get off this in comparison to what we get off 119 is minuscule. And this is why it's really important for us to be able to own field 5. Link that together with field 4 and turn it into a really big field. We'll start getting really good bumper harvests, which will enable us to make some serious money and bring in some seriously big equipment. Big Challenger tractors, large storage capacity, mother bins, additional combines, the works, really, really big seeders and cultivators, etc. It's the way forward. We just need the money to be able to do it. And the easiest way for us to get that money is to have big fields that we can run big harvests on. Looks like we may need that trailer after all, but we certainly won't end up with a full trailer. Probably around 45,000 at the absolute most. Let's see what we end up with and how quickly we fill up. Got probably around about 90% full in this combine, so by the time we get it to the top, that'll be higher, but I don't think we'll actually make it all the way up to the top before we run out of space in our auger. But we don't need to. All we need to do is just make sure that there's enough space in the combine for it to finish the rest of this field, which, you know, will easily happen. You see it's almost an empty grain tank already, look. Not much left in there now. And there we go, we are at capacity. So, yeah, we are going to need the trailer, but we're certainly not going to need it for anything like the volume that we had on the previous field. Like I say, we're probably looking at around about 40 to 45,000, somewhere in that range. Because we have that pass that the combine is still working, and then we have a thin strip, so not exactly a huge amount of crop left on the field. So there we go, we finished the field. And we got 4,000 left in the tank, so we're not even going to hit 40,000. 38,000 and change is our total yield from this field. A far cry from the 120 that we got off field 119. But together gives us 150,000 litres of canola. That's actually more than 2 trailers worth. So we're going to have a lot to sell. We are probably going to have to lease a second trailer to sell our grains. This could be very interesting indeed. Turned a little bit too early there. I do like doing the dump chain like this. So as soon as this is done, we can detach the header, fold everything up, and move over to field 2. Get our wheat harvest underway. There we go. Alright, so I'll meet you guys on field 2. So here we are on field 2. Let's get the header lined up. There we go. Attach that off. Let's unfold. Oops. We are going to be running straw swath on this field as well. So any straw that we make will bale up, and then we can sell the bales for that extra little bit of income. I think I've got this the right way around. Let's check. Yep, there we go. So our straw is now coming out the back. So, beautiful. Now we need to go and empty our trailer. Get that set up near field 2. And then get our auger over there and start getting ready to empty. We've got a little bit more of a time-sensitive issue, simply because the combine is going to fill up quicker than it did with the canola, because wheat is a much higher yield crop, so that thing's going to start filling up really quickly. We've probably got 2, maybe 3 passes at most before that thing fills up. So once again, we're going to have to do the juggling trick where we get this parked up and start unloading, and then immediately try and charge the auger wagon over to the combine and try and keep that running as best we can. Looks like we timed it just perfectly to pull alongside this combine as he's about to start the 3rd pass. Hasn't triggered an 80% warning yet, so I'm guessing we did around 60 to 70% off those 2, so we could probably have waited and caught him at the bottom, but we'll catch him this way. This gives us time to bring the truck back and get it set up where we want it. And we'll be skipping a field as well when we do our harvest. From here, we'll go straight over to field 4, because that also has wheat. and then we'll come back and do field 6 because that has soybean on it. Decided to actually take the truck directly to field 4. We are close enough with field 2 to our silo that we can just empty our auger if that fills up into the silo directly. So we'll get this set up on field 4 instead, which should be coming up any moment. This is field 6. This is our soybean field. But the reason I want to get field 4 out of the way, as I say, it is the same type of crop, you know, being wheat. It's the same as the field that we're doing right now, so I can run a baler from one field straight to the next and generate those bales while the harvester is doing its thing. So let's park up here. That should be enough room, but we'll get a little bit closer to the hedges just to make sure that we don't get in the way of the combine. There we go. So, truck in position on the bottom of field 4. So that's the end of field 2. Everything has been harvested here, and as predicted, despite it being a high yield crop, we've got everything inside a single auger wagon load. No need for the trailer to be over here. So now we can get this folded up, take this over to field 4, do the wheat harvest over there, bale everything up, and then we can start moving the bales while our combine is running through the soybeans on field 6. Okay, because we are so close to field 5 here, it's not letting us hire a worker. This could be slightly problematic. It's not letting me work the field in any way. All I'm doing, look, is just destroying the crop. I need to... I don't know how I'm going to get the last of that. There we go. That works. Dump the straw out just there. Let's turn straw swathing off for a moment so we can get lined up where we can actually harvest everything. Yeah, see, again, look, we can't get that last little bit, so we're actually going to lose just a thin strip on this field by the look of it. I can get action there. Oh, there we go. We are just harvesting, so let's turn straw swathing back on, get the worker in place, and there we go. A little bit fiddle, we actually have our field underway now. The race is on to tag this combine before it hits the end of the field. We've already had the 80% warning, so we can get 2 passes out of this thing. Let's let him slow down, back up a little bit. There we go. Now we can sit here and let him fill up before he carries on. Time to start bailing up on field 4 here. Almost got enough of a bale being made to push one out and complete our stack of 4 here, but not quite, so there we go. Carried the part stack over. Oop, on the wrong tool there. Let's get close back up before the next bale pushes out completely. Beautiful. So we can get this baled while we're harvesting. Really try and be as efficient as possible. Our combine should be hitting about 80% any second now. So when we complete this pass, we'll be switching to the auger. Emptying and then getting the combine back underway again. Go. So let's switch. Yeah, there we go, 80%. Let's get the auger in place and do the same empty trick that we did before. Try not to run over the crop. Ooh, just tagged it slightly there. And there we go, another successful unloading underway. You see, he always backs up when he gets to the end so that he can spread that straw a little bit more evenly and not have a giant clump at the end of the field. So it's all about positioning the auger wagon in just the right spot to let him do that. Well, we've caught up with our combine, so now we're baling at a much slower rate. But we produced an awful lot of bales already just on this field. And when you combine that with the bales that we have on field 2, that's going to be, plus the crop that we still have yet to harvest, that's quite a nice tidy little amount. We'll save some of them, just top up our straw levels just a little bit, because we've only got, I think, 3 stacks of straw bales left, so we'll add a couple more in our bale shed as bedding for our cows. But we've got quite a nice little haul of bales to sell here. This will bring in a nice little extra bit of money. So here we are on the last part of field 4, getting this last little bit of wheat. Our trailer is full, so that's going to go and get emptied, and then we're going to have, I don't know, maybe around 5,000 litres of wheat in the auger that we'll have to go and empty as well. The combine can literally just jump straight across to field 6, which is just over there, but we won't get everything started until we have everything else in place, so our truck and our auger. Although actually it's possible we might not need the truck. You know, that is the lowest yield crop of all of them. So it is entirely possible that we can control the harvest simply with the auger, although looking at the size of the field, I think it might be a little bit too big for that. It is definitely bigger than 20. Yeah, we'll try it with just the auger, see if we need to bring the truck back or not. If we don't, then we can start loading up those bales straight away. So unfortunately we are pretty much out of time for the rest of this episode now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off harvesting this field, get all the soybeans collected and dumped into our silos. The bales are stacked and ready to be loaded onto a trailer, so when we come back in the next episode we'll load all those bales, we'll sell them off, we'll speed time up a little bit, we'll let our crop prices improve and start selling some grain, and then hopefully we'll have enough money to be able to buy field 5. Find the right number. Field 5. We'll have enough money hopefully to buy that one before it becomes unharvestable. So thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you back on the farm very soon.